Travelers, the sound of rolling suitcases, and the hum of overhead announcements filling the air. Among the crowd stood Angela Morris, a 32-year-old single mother from Atlanta, holding her daughter's hand tightly. She was exhausted from a long business trip and just wanted to get home. But little did she know, her calm evening flight would soon turn into a viral incident that would shake the entire airline industry. Angela had saved for months to buy this ticket, not just for herself, but for her daughter's first flight. Her luggage wasn't fancy, just an old suitcase with stickers from past trips, but inside were gifts for her daughter's birthday and a laptop holding her company's latest marketing proposal. To her, it was everything. As she approached the counter, the gate agent, a tall man named Rick, barely looked up. He seemed annoyed, juggling calls, impatient passengers, and a line that never seemed to end. Angela smiled politely. "Hi, sir, I think there's been a mix-up with my seat assignment. It says I'm in 22B, but I paid for priority." Rick didn't even check the screen properly. "Ma'am, everyone says that. Step aside, please. You're holding up the line." Angela took a deep breath. "I understand, but I really need to sit with my daughter. She's only 6. The people behind her were starting to grumble. Rick sighed and muttered something under his breath. "Fine, give me your ticket." He snatched it from her hand so fast that her daughter flinched. Then, as Angela set her suitcase next to the counter, Rick said sharply, "You can't take that carry-on. It's oversized. Check it in." Angela shook her head. "Sir, I flew with this same bag here 2 days ago. It fits." But Rick was already rolling his eyes. "Ma'am, I said check it in. Rules are rules." He tagged her bag roughly, yanked it toward him, and that's when it happened. In his frustration, Rick slammed the luggage down so hard that one of the wheels broke off, and Angela's daughter gasped as the zipper split, spilling part of their belongings onto the floor. Angela froze. For a second, she couldn't believe what she'd just seen. "Sir," she said, her voice trembling, "that's my property. You just broke my suitcase." Rick shrugged. "Should have packed better. Now please move along." A few people nearby had started recording on their phones. Angela bent down, gathering her daughter's toys and clothes, trying to hold back tears. "You had no right to do that," she said, her voice louder this time. "You owe me an apology." But Rick snapped back, "Ma'am, if you don't calm down, I'll have security escort you away from the gate." The crowd went silent. Angela stood there, shaking, holding her daughter close. And then, with tears rolling down her face, she whispered, "You just showed my little girl how people like us get treated." Someone in the crowd shouted, "That's not right, man." Another yelled, "You can't treat people like that." Within minutes, several passengers were filming, and one woman, a travel blogger named Sophie Lane, live-streamed the whole incident. Angela finally managed to check in and board, sitting quietly near the back of the plane, her daughter sleeping on her lap. She didn't realize that the video had already gone viral before the plane even took off. By the time the flight reached cruising altitude, #JusticeForAngela was trending across social media. Thousands of comments poured in. Some shared their own bad experiences with rude airline staff. Others demanded the company apologize immediately. But the chaos was just beginning. Back at the airport, the airline's customer service phone lines were jammed. Reporters started calling the headquarters for a statement. The airline's CEO, David Lanson, was at a charity dinner when his phone started buzzing non-stop. His assistant whispered, "Sir, it's bad. A gate agent at JFK is trending, there's a video, and people are calling it racist." Lanson frowned, watching the footage on his phone. His jaw tightened as he saw Rick smashing the suitcase and mocking Angela. "Find him," he said sharply. "And find that woman." Within an hour, the company's social media accounts were flooded. The airline tried to post a generic apology, but it backfired. Thousands of angry customers replied that the company was tone-deaf and protecting abusive staff. Meanwhile, Rick was still at the gate, unaware of the storm he'd caused. That changed when 2 security officers approached him. "You need to come with us," one said. "Corporate's calling." Inside the office, Rick's manager showed him the video. "You broke her bag on camera," the manager said, voice tight with disbelief. "You humiliated a passenger in front of everyone." Rick stammered. "She was being difficult." "Save it," the manager interrupted. "You're suspended pending investigation." By the time Angela landed in Atlanta, she was met not just by her family, but by reporters. "Ms. Morris, are you aware the video of your incident has been seen over 10 million times?" one asked. Angela looked shocked. I just wanted an apology." The next morning, things escalated even more. The airline's stock dropped 3% overnight. Several influencers announced boycotts. Other employees began posting their own stories anonymously, saying Rick wasn't the only one, that rude, discriminatory behavior was common at certain hubs. It was no longer just about a broken suitcase. It was about how the airline treated people, especially women of color. That evening, the airline's CEO released a video statement. His voice was calm, but his eyes betrayed his concern. "We are deeply sorry for what happened to Ms. Angela Morris. The employee involved has been terminated, and we are reviewing all training programs to ensure this never happens again." But Angela wasn't interested in fame or revenge. When a journalist asked her if she planned to sue, she said quietly, "I just want my daughter to know that standing up for yourself is never wrong, even if people try to silence you." Days later, she received a call from the CEO himself. He apologized personally and offered full compensation. But Angela surprised him. "Money can't fix respect," she said. "If you really mean that apology, treat your passengers better. Treat your staff better, too." Her words struck him deeply. Within weeks, the airline introduced a new Respect First training initiative for all employees, focusing on empathy, communication, and bias awareness. They even invited Angela to speak at one of the sessions. When she stood before hundreds of uniformed employees, her voice was steady but emotional. "I didn't come here to be angry," she said. "I came here to remind you that every bag you touch, every ticket you scan, belongs to someone with a story. You never know what they're carrying, maybe their dreams, maybe their heartbreaks. Handle them with care." The room fell silent, and when she finished, the audience stood up in applause. Even some of the toughest crew members had tears in their eyes. Months later, Angela received a letter in the mail, an official thank you note from the airline, along with free lifetime travel passes. But more importantly, she received something else: dozens of letters from airline employees who said her story changed how they treat passengers forever. Her broken suitcase had started a revolution. And as Angela packed her new luggage for another trip, this time with her daughter smiling beside her, she whispered, "Sometimes life breaks something precious to build something better." That day, at an airport where millions rushed past each other without a glance, a small act of cruelty had turned into a powerful lesson in kindness, and a reminder that respect should never depend on who you are or what you look like.